Every conversation you have, from small talk to deep discussions, is guided by an invisible psychological script. Most people don't even know it exists. They speak reactively, emotionally, or without intention. Smart communicators do the opposite. They understand that communication is not about talking. It's about shaping perception, guiding emotions, and influencing outcomes. The most powerful communicators aren't necessarily the loudest, the most educated, or the most charismatic. They're the ones who understand how people think. They understand the mechanics behind attention, trust, emotion, memory, and persuasion. They understand what people respond to, what people ignore, and what people subconsciously interpret before a single word is spoken. Speaking smart starts with understanding one core truth. People don't listen to your words. They listen to your energy, intention, and emotional logic. A conversation is never just information. It's a psychological exchange. It's a dance between two nervous systems. It's a negotiation of status, safety, emotion, and meaning. When you understand this, you instantly communicate with more clarity, precision, and authority. You stop rambling. You stop over-explaining. You stop trying to impress. Instead, you start guiding the interaction, calmly, intelligently, intentionally. Smart communication begins long before you open your mouth. It begins in your mind, in your awareness, in your emotional control. The reason some people speak and everyone listens is simple. They communicate from a place of grounded presence. They understand the psychology happening under the surface. They use words like tools, not weapons, not fillers, not emotional reactions. To speak smart, you must master 3 psychological pillars. 1. Perception, how people see you before you speak, while you speak, and after you finish. 2. Emotion, the emotional state you create in the listener, intentionally or unintentionally. 3. Influence, the subtle ways you guide thoughts, attention, and conclusions. These pillars determine whether people respect you, ignore you, underestimate you, trust you, feel safe with you, or feel irritated by you. Speaking smart is about taking control of these dynamics instead of being controlled by them. Here's the surprising part. You do not need a big vocabulary, perfect grammar, or a polished speaker voice. You only need clear intention plus emotional discipline plus psychological awareness. When you remove emotional noise, people hear you better. When you speak with structure, people understand you faster. When you understand human behavior, your words land deeper. From now on, your mission is simple. Stop speaking to express. Start speaking to impact. This is the foundation of the entire audiobook. If you master this chapter alone, your communication will instantly rise above 90% of people. Chapter 2, Why People Listen, the Science of Attention, Respect, and Presence. People don't listen to you because you're talking. They listen because something about you commands attention. Your presence, your tone, your clarity, your calmness, your confidence, your timing, or even your silence. Most communication breaks down because people focus on what they want to say, not on why anyone should listen. Smart communicators do the opposite. They understand that attention is earned, not given. Respect is created, not requested. And presence is felt before a single word is spoken. If you've ever spoken and felt invisible, if you've ever explained something clearly but people still ignored you, if you've ever watched others get more respect with fewer words, this chapter reveals the psychology behind it. 1. People listen to energy before content. You can say the smartest sentence in the world, but if your energy is off, nervous, scattered, rushed, needy, people disconnect instantly. Humans are wired to read emotional cues first and words second. Before the brain processes your message, it processes your face, your tone, your posture, your confidence, your emotional stability. That means communication doesn't start when you speak. It starts the moment you enter the space. This is why the calm person is heard more than the loud person. Why the grounded person is respected more than the aggressive person. And why someone can speak quietly yet be impossible to ignore. People aren't just listening to your words. They're listening to your state. 2. People listen when you speak with intent, not emotion. Most people speak reactively. They talk because they feel something: anger, excitement, insecurity, anxiety. But emotional talking is noisy talking, and noisy talking loses attention fast. Highly effective communicators do something different. They speak with intentional clarity. Not to vent. Not to fill silence. Not to prove themselves. But to deliver a message with precision. When you speak with intention, your sentences become cleaner. Your tone becomes steadier. Your presence becomes stronger. Your message lands deeper. People can feel the difference instantly. Emotion tries to spill. Intent creates impact. 3. People listen when you don't chase their attention. Here's a powerful truth. The moment you try to make someone listen, they stop listening. Needy communication triggers resistance. Confident communication invites attention naturally. This is why the following behaviors destroy your presence. Over-explaining. Repeating yourself unnecessarily. Talking too fast. Seeking approval while speaking. Apologizing for taking up space. The more you chase attention, the more attention runs away. Smart communicators do the opposite. They don't rush. They don't beg. They don't shrink. They don't force. They speak from the center of themselves, not from the edges. And that inner solidity is magnetic. For people listen when you control the rhythm, not just the words. Words matter, but rhythm matters more. Humans are naturally drawn to speakers who use pauses, controlled pacing, intentional silence, variations in tone, mental beats between ideas. Why? Because the brain loves rhythm. It struggles with monotony but thrives with variation. A pause can be more powerful than a paragraph. It signals confidence, maturity, and authority. When you speak slowly and deliberately, two psychological effects happen. Your words feel more important. The listener becomes more attentive. This is one of the most underrated communication skills on the planet. Silence is not empty. Silence is influence. 5. People listen to what affects them emotionally. The human brain filters every piece of information through one question. Does this matter to me? If your communication doesn't activate emotion, curiosity, interest, relevance, value, it gets ignored. To make people care, you must connect the message to their world. Highlight what benefits them. Avoid speaking in abstract concepts. Make the conversation meaningful. The moment the brain feels something, it listens. The moment it stops feeling, it drifts. Speaking smart means understanding this emotional switch and pressing it intentionally. 6. People listen to certainty. Not arrogance. Not dominance. Not loudness. Certainty. Certainty communicates. I know what I'm saying. I'm not afraid of your reaction. I'm grounded in my message. Certainty earns respect effortlessly. It's why even simple statements delivered confidently become persuasive. When you speak with certainty, people trust you. When you speak with uncertainty, people doubt you. Even if your point is correct. Certainty is not about knowing everything. It's about owning what you know. 7. Your presence is the message. At the deepest level, people don't listen to your sentences. They listen to the psychology behind your presence. If your presence is calm, they relax. If your presence is focused, they engage. If your presence is confident, they listen. If your presence is unstable, they disconnect. Your presence is the frame that holds your words. Strengthen the frame and every word becomes stronger. Chapter 3, The Art of Sounding Smart. How to Speak with Clarity, Calmness, and Intelligence. Most people think sounding smart is about using big words, complex sentences, or impressive vocabulary. It's not. In fact, the smartest communicators often use the simplest language, but they deliver it with clarity, calmness, and precision that instantly elevates the way they're perceived. Sounding smart is not about what you say, it's about how your message lands in the mind of the listener. It's about creating mental ease, not confusion. It's about speaking in a way that feels structured, intentional, and confident. This chapter reveals the psychology behind why some people sound naturally intelligent, even when they speak very little, while others talk a lot yet communicate nothing. 1. Smart speakers remove noise, not add more words. The biggest communication mistake is talking too much. People ramble when they're nervous, insecure, trying to prove something, afraid of silence, unsure of their point, seeking approval. Rambling kills your presence. It dilutes your message. It makes you sound scattered instead of centered. Smart speakers do the opposite. They compress ideas. They use clean sentences, intentional pauses, simple but strong words, calm delivery, clear logic. Every time you reduce verbal noise, your intelligence becomes more visible. Smart communication is clean communication. 2. Clarity makes you sound intelligent, even if the idea is simple. You can take the simplest idea and make it sound brilliant, if you present it with structure. What makes you sound smart is the order of your thoughts, the calmness in your voice, the precision of your explanation, the confidence behind your delivery. Clarity creates authority. When you speak clearly, people automatically assume you understand the topic. You're thoughtful. You're reliable. You're composed under pressure. Clarity is not a talent. It's a habit, and it's built by slowing down your mind before you speak. 3. Smart communicators avoid overcomplication. Many people try to sound smart by speaking like a textbook. They use long, complicated sentences because they think it makes them look intelligent, but it has the opposite effect. Overcomplication signals insecurity, lack of mastery, overthinking, fear of sounding too simple, confusion disguised as sophistication. The smartest speakers simplify the complex. They make big ideas feel easy to understand. Great communication is not about impressing people. It's about impacting them. 4. Smart speakers use a stable, controlled tone. Your tone reveals more intelligence than your vocabulary. Here's what people subconsciously perceive when your tone is calm, you're confident. Steady, you're thoughtful. Paced, you're in control. Quiet but clear, you're grounded. Slow but intentional, you're composed. Tone is emotional intelligence made audible. A smart speaker doesn't rush. They don't speak with anxiety. They don't leak insecurity through their voice. Their tone communicates maturity, and people feel it instantly. 5. Smart communication is about knowing when to pause. Silence is one of the most underused communication tools. Pausing does not make you look unsure. It makes you look intelligent. A pause signals you're thinking. You're intentional. You're choosing your words carefully. You're not reactive. You're confident enough not to fill space. People listen more deeply after a pause. Their brain leans in. The silence creates gravity around your next sentence. If you want to sound smart, pause more. 6. Smart speakers don't react, they respond. Reacting is emotional. Responding is intelligent. When you respond instead of react, your message becomes clearer. Your tone becomes steadier. Your presence becomes stronger. Your thinking becomes sharper. Smart communicators create a small mental gap between hearing and speaking. In that gap, they filter emotion and deliver logic. It's this emotional discipline that makes people sound wise, grounded, and controlled. 7. Smart speakers use analogies and stories. You can take the most complex idea and make it instantly understandable by pairing it with a simple analogy. This is the secret of great speakers, leaders, teachers, and influencers. Analogies activate the listener's imagination. Stories activate emotion. Together they make your message unforgettable. When someone says, "Wow, that makes sense now," that's because the speaker used psychological clarity, not complicated language. Smart speakers are not trying to sound smart. They're trying to make the listener understand, and that's what makes them sound intelligent. 8. Smart communication begins with inner stillness. If you want to sound smart, you must speak from a calm inner space. When your mind is noisy, your speech becomes noisy. When your thoughts are rushed, your delivery is rushed. When your emotions are chaotic, your communication is chaotic. But when you're grounded, you speak slower. You think clearer. You express better. You listen deeper. You project confidence. Intelligence is not just what you know. It's the state you communicate from. 9. People remember how you made them feel, not what you said. The smartest communicators understand that communication is not a memory test. People don't remember every word. They remember the clarity, the calmness, the confidence, the emotional impact, the respect you showed, the feeling of ease you created. Sounding smart is not about impressing the mind. It's about elevating the experience of the listener. Chapter 4, The Power of Calm, How to Control the Room Without Raising Your Voice. Some people walk into a room and instantly command attention. Not because they're loud, not because they're flashy, and not because they dominate the conversation. They command attention because they carry a calm energy that makes everyone else adjust to them. This calm presence is one of the most powerful communication tools you can develop. It makes you appear confident, intelligent, trustworthy, and in control, even if you speak very little. Calmness is not passive. Calmness is power under control. If you've ever wanted people to take you more seriously, if you've ever wished others would listen more carefully, if you've ever wanted to instantly elevate your presence without changing a word you say, this chapter reveals how calmness becomes your silent weapon. 1. Calmness signals authority at a biological level. Humans are wired to follow calm leaders. In groups, the calmest person is seen as the most competent, the most prepared, the most stable, the safest to listen to. Why? Because calmness tells the brain, this person is in control. When you're calm, you win people's trust without arguing, convincing, or pushing. Your presence does the work for you. This is why the calm person gets heard, gets respected, gets taken seriously, while the loud, emotional, or reactive person gets ignored. Authority is not volume. Authority is calm. 2. Calmness gives you control over the pace of the conversation. Most people get dragged by the other person's speed, tone, or emotional intensity. Smart communicators stay grounded. When you are calm, you slow the conversation down. You force the other person to match your energy. You create space between stimulus and response. You stay in psychological control. Calmness gives you leverage. It sets the tempo. The person who controls the pace controls the interaction. 3. Calmness makes your words sound more intelligent. A calm delivery makes any sentence sound more thoughtful, more deliberate, more credible. Even simple statements hit harder when spoken calmly. Your voice becomes more structured. Your ideas become more digestible. Your message lands deeper. When you're calm, you sound like you've already thought it through. When you're anxious, you sound like you're thinking while talking, and that lowers your perceived intelligence. Calmness gives your communication weight. People trust slow confidence over fast uncertainty. 4. Calmness neutralizes aggression and emotional people. Smart communicators never match someone's anger. Why? Because matching emotion means losing control. If someone is loud, rude, impulsive, reactive, disrespectful, your calmness does 3 things. It makes their behavior look exaggerated. It forces them to self-correct. It gives you the psychological upper hand. People become embarrassed when they act emotional next to someone calm. Your presence exposes their instability. You don't need to win. Their own energy defeats them. Calmness is a psychological mirror that reveals other people to themselves. 5. Calmness helps you think with precision. When emotions rise, intelligence drops. But when calmness rises, mental clarity sharpens. Calmness gives you better logic, cleaner thinking, sharper intuition, improved memory, higher emotional control. This is why people who stay calm under pressure seem smarter. They're simply accessing parts of the brain that emotional people block. If you want to speak smart, you must think smart. And to think smart, you must stay calm. 6. Calmness turns you into a better listener. People are drawn to those who truly listen. When you're calm, you listen without interrupting. You catch details others miss. You understand the emotional layer behind words. You respond, not react. This makes people feel respected, and when people feel respected, they naturally respect you back. Listening isn't passive. Listening is influence. 7. Calmness makes you memorable. People forget loud talkers all the time. They blend into the noise. But calm speakers stand out because they create contrast. They feel different. They leave an emotional imprint. They communicate stability. Calm people create psychological gravity. Their presence lingers in the room even after they leave. People remember how you made them feel, and calmness makes people feel safe, seen, and steady. 8. Calmness gives you control over your image. When you're calm, you look confident. You look competent. You look mature. You look in charge. Calmness protects your image even in difficult moments. During criticism, in arguments, in high-pressure situations, when people test you, when someone tries to provoke you, your calmness becomes your shield. It becomes your brand. It becomes your silent form of power. 9. Calmness is a skill, not a personality trait. Nobody is born calm. Calmness is trained. You build it by not rushing your speech, breathing before answering, lowering your voice instead of raising it, thinking before you respond, grounding yourself emotionally, choosing presence over reaction. With practice, calmness becomes your default mode. Your communication transforms. Your relationships change. Your influence multiplies. Chapter 5. The Art of Confident Body Language. Words may communicate information, but your body communicates truth. Long before someone processes what you say, they've already formed an impression based on how you stand, move, and carry yourself. Confident body language isn't about theatrics. It's about aligning your physical presence with your message so people instinctively trust and respect you. 1. Presence speaks before you do. Confidence has a physical signature. Upright posture. Shoulders relaxed but open. Chin level. Eye contact that is steady, not staring. This posture tells people, I am grounded. I am prepared. I am worth listening to. You don't need to act confident. You just need to remove the cues that make you look uncertain. Slouching, fidgeting, hiding your hands, or constantly looking away. The moment your body aligns with certainty, your brain follows. 2. The power of open gestures. Open body language signals honesty, trustworthiness, and calm dominance. Keep your hands visible. Let your arms move in natural arcs instead of crossing them defensively. People subconsciously read open gestures as a sign that you are safe, genuine, and in control of yourself. Closed gestures, arms folded, shoulders hunched, hands in pockets, communicate fear, withdrawal, or resistance. If you want people to open up to you, you must physically open up first. 3. Use space with intelligence. People who lack confidence shrink themselves. They occupy as little space as possible. Confident communicators use space without hesitation. They take a stable stance. They gesture with boldness. They don't cling to the edges of a room, they move through it with purpose. But remember, confidence is not aggression. You're not trying to dominate space, only to belong in it comfortably. 4. Controlled movements equals controlled mind. Your movements tell others whether your mind is centered or scattered. Fidgeting, tapping, rapid blinking, or shifting weight too frequently creates nervous energy. Slow, intentional movements project clarity and self-command. When you control your body, you control the room, even before you speak. 5. The psychology of eye contact. Eye contact is the simplest, most powerful tool in communication. It shows attentiveness, honesty, confidence, and connection. Use the triangle focus. Rotate your gaze between the person's left eye, right eye, and their mouth. This keeps your eye contact natural and comfortable without staring. Strong eye contact can make even a simple sentence sound authoritative. 6. Your face tells your story. Neutral but warm facial expressions signal that you are approachable and stable. A slight, sincere smile softens communication and makes people receptive. Meanwhile, blankness or tension can create distance and mistrust. Before speaking, relax your jaw, soften your face, and let your expression reflect calm confidence. 7. Make your body match your message. If your body and your words disagree, people believe your body. Say, I'm excited, with a flat posture and no energy. No one believes you. Say, I can handle it, while shifting nervously, your credibility collapses. Alignment creates persuasive communication. Misalignment creates doubt. Confident body language does not require natural charisma, only self-awareness and intentionality. When your physical presence aligns with psychological strength, your words gain weight, your ideas gain respect, and your audience feels guided by someone who truly knows what they're doing. If you want, I can continue with Chapter 6. You said, Chapter 6. ChatGPT said. Here is Chapter 6 of How to Speak Smart. Master the Psychology of Powerful Communication audiobook, clean, powerful, and fully standalone. Chapter 6. How to speak with clarity, precision, and impact. Great communicators don't confuse people, they guide them. Clarity is a superpower in a world full of noise, complexity, and vague talk. When you speak clearly, you project intelligence, authority, and confidence. People lean in because your words make sense instantly. Clarity is not about using big words. It's about making big ideas easy to understand. 1. Remove the noise from your speech. Most people weaken their message with filler. You know, like, basically, sort of, kinda, I guess. These fillers make you sound unsure even when you aren't. Smart speakers pause instead of filling silence. A pause sounds intentional. A filler sounds insecure. Replace fillers with purposeful silence. 2. Speak in clean, direct sentences. Confusing speakers ramble. Smart speakers structure. Use this formula. One idiom, one sentence. Break down big thoughts into clear units. This keeps your message strong and easy to follow. People trust communicators who make things simple without dumbing them down. 3. Choose strong words, not fluffy ones. Weak phrases dilute your point. I think maybe we should. It could kind of help if. Strong phrasing creates confidence. Here's the best option. This approach will get us results. Direct language signals leadership. It makes people take your ideas seriously. 4. Slow down to increase authority. Nervous speakers rush. Confident speakers pace themselves. When you speak too fast, you sound anxious and people struggle to keep up. When you slow down slightly, your words land harder. Your tone becomes more authoritative. Your presence feels bigger. Silence and pacing give your message space to breathe. 5. Use the power of emphasis. Not all words are equal. Highlight the important ones. Change your tone, pause before a key phrase, or stress a crucial word. This guides the listener's attention and adds emotional weight. A message with emphasis becomes memorable. A message without it becomes noise. 6. Eliminate over-explaining. One of the biggest communication mistakes is explaining something too much. Over-explaining sends the message. I'm insecure. I need your approval. I'm not sure you understand me. Smart speakers say what needs to be said and stop. Let your words stand without apology or justification. 7. Be specific, not vague. Vague language loses people. Instead of, we need to improve this, say, we need to increase engagement by focusing on clearer messaging. Specificity builds trust. People listen to the communicator who knows exactly what they mean. 8. Structure your message like a path. Clarity increases when you give people a mental map. Yes. Here's the point. Here's why it matters. Here's what we do next. You're not just speaking, you're guiding. A structured message makes listeners feel safe in your intelligence. 9. Remove emotional static. Emotionally charged words or tones can cloud clarity. Calm, controlled delivery helps people focus on your message, not on your emotional turbulence. Speaking clearly is not just a skill, it's a discipline. 10. Clarity makes you sound smarter. People equate clarity with intelligence. The clearer you speak, the more competent you appear. When others can follow your ideas effortlessly, they naturally see you as a leader. Clear speech is a signal of a clear mind. Clarity is magnetic. It gives your words weight, your presence authority, and your ideas momentum. The world listens to the person who speaks simply, directly, and powerfully. Chapter 6. How to speak with clarity, precision, and impact. Great communicators don't confuse people, they guide them. Clarity is a superpower in a world full of noise, complexity, and vague talk. When you speak clearly, you project intelligence, authority, and confidence. People lean in because your words make sense instantly. Clarity is not about using big words. It's about making big ideas easy to understand. 1. Remove the noise from your speech. Most people weaken their message with filler. You know, like, basically, sort of, kinda, I guess. These fillers make you sound unsure even when you aren't. Smart speakers pause instead of filling silence. A pause sounds intentional. A filler sounds insecure. Replace fillers with purposeful silence. 2. Speak in clean, direct sentences. Confusing speakers ramble. Smart speakers structure. Use this formula. One idea in one sentence. Break down big thoughts into clear units. This keeps your message strong and easy to follow. People trust communicators who make things simple without dumbing them down. 3. Choose strong words, not fluffy ones. Weak phrases dilute your point. I think maybe we should. It could kind of help if. Strong phrasing creates confidence. Here's the best option. This approach will get us results. Direct language signals leadership. It makes people take your ideas seriously. 4. Slow down to increase authority. Nervous speakers rush. Confident speakers pace themselves. When you speak too fast, you sound anxious and people struggle to keep up. When you slow down slightly, your words land harder. Your tone becomes more authoritative. Your presence feels bigger. Silence and pacing give your message space to breathe. 5. Use the power of emphasis. Not all words are equal. Highlight the important ones. Change your tone, pause before a key phrase, or stress a crucial word. This guides the listener's attention and adds emotional weight. A message with emphasis becomes memorable. A message without it becomes noise. 6. Eliminate over-explaining. One of the biggest communication mistakes is explaining something too much. Over-explaining sends the message. I'm insecure. I need your approval. I'm not sure you understand me. Smart speakers say what needs to be said and stop. Let your words stand without apology or justification. 7. Be specific, not vague. Vague language loses people. Instead of, we need to improve this, say, we need to increase engagement by focusing on clearer messaging. Specificity builds trust. People listen to the communicator who knows exactly what they mean. 8. Structure your message like a path. Clarity increases when you give people a mental map. Yes. Here's the point. Here's why it matters. Here's what we do next. You're not just speaking, you're guiding. A structured message makes listeners feel safe in your intelligence. 9. Remove emotional static. Emotionally charged words or tones can cloud clarity. Calm, controlled delivery helps people focus on your message, not on your emotional turbulence. Speaking clearly is not just a skill, it's a discipline. 10. Clarity makes you sound smarter. People equate clarity with intelligence. The clearer you speak, the more competent you appear. When others can follow your ideas effortlessly, they naturally see you as a leader. Clear speech is a signal of a clear mind. Clarity is magnetic. It gives your words weight, your presence authority, and your ideas momentum. The world listens to the person who speaks simply, directly, and powerfully. Chapter 7: How Smart Speakers Build Instant Respect. Respect is not requested, it's earned through behavior. People judge your intelligence and credibility long before you finish speaking. They evaluate your posture, tone, confidence, and presence. Smart speakers understand this and intentionally communicate in ways that command respect effortlessly. This chapter shows you how to speak in a way that makes people take you seriously from the moment you open your mouth. 1. Respect starts before you say a word. People assess you based on posture, eye contact, energy, facial expression, how you enter a room. If your presence is weak, your words don't matter yet. Stand tall. Move with intention. Hold steady eye contact. Presence precedes communication. 2. Speak with calm authority. The most respected voices are calm, not loud. When you speak with a steady, composed tone, people feel, this person is in control. This person is trustworthy. This person knows what they're talking about. Calmness equals power. Loudness equals insecurity disguised as confidence. Smart speakers lower their tone slightly, speak with controlled pacing, and allow silence to do the heavy lifting. 3. Stop explaining yourself too much. People lose respect for speakers who apologize or justify every sentence. Avoid, sorry but, I'm not sure if this makes sense but, this might be a stupid idea but. Every apology takes away from your authority. Speak your idea. Pause. Let it stand on its own. When you speak as if your ideas have value, people assume they do. 4. Speak in statements, not question marks. Weak speakers end sentences with upward inflections, turning statements into questions. When you rise your tone, you sound unsure? Strong speakers anchor their last word firmly. A grounded tone conveys certainty, projects competence, makes people believe in your message. If your voice wavers, your authority wavers with it. 5. Stop trying to impress people. Reverse psychology. The more you try to impress people, the less impressive you sound. Overcompensating signals insecurity. Instead of trying to look smart, focus on being clear. Focus on being helpful. Focus on being present. Focus on being honest. People naturally respect those who don't beg for respect. 6. Don't rush to fill silence. Weak communicators panic when silence appears. Strong communicators use it. Silence communicates confidence, control, emotional stability. A strategic pause increases your impact dramatically. It shows you are not desperate for approval or afraid of losing the room. Silence is a power move. 7. Don't tell people you're right, show it. Respect is earned through logic, not boasting. Avoid saying, "Trust me. I'm right. I know what I'm talking about." Instead, give evidence. Explain your reasoning. Share your experience. Outline the logic. Smart speakers let the message prove itself. People respect strength, not self-promotion. 8. Make every word count. People respect communicators who speak with intention. Cut rambling, long detours, unnecessary details, endless backstories. The more concise you are, the more people take you seriously. Concise equals in control. Rambling equals emotionally scattered. Respect follows clarity. 9. Set clear boundaries in your speech. People respect those who communicate boundaries directly and calmly. Examples: "I'm not available right now. Let's talk later." "That approach doesn't work for me. Here's what does." Let's stay focused on the topic. When you protect your time, energy, and attention, others see you as a person of value. Boundaries create respect instantly. 10. Speak with purpose, not emotion. Emotion isn't bad, but uncontrolled emotion destroys respect. When you argue emotionally, react impulsively, speak with frustration, get defensive, you lose authority. When you stay composed, speak from logic, stay emotionally grounded, keep your tone stable, you gain respect. People trust the speaker who stays calm when others panic. 11. Don't dominate, direct. Respect doesn't come from overpowering others. It comes from leading the conversation with clarity and intention. Ask smart questions. Summarize key points. Guide the discussion. Bring structure. People naturally respect the person who organizes chaos. 12. Respect equals consistency. If your behavior shifts depending on who's in the room, people won't trust you. Speak with the same confidence. To a boss, to a stranger, to a friend, to a crowd. Respect grows when your character stays steady. Consistency is louder than charisma. Final thoughts. Respect isn't demanded, it's projected. When your presence is steady, your tone calm, your words intentional, and your boundaries clear, people have no choice but to take you seriously. Smart speakers don't shout for authority. They embody it. Chapter 8. The Psychology of Being Listened to. People don't listen to you because you're talking. People listen to you because of how you make them feel while you're talking. Smart communication isn't about having the most knowledge, the strongest opinions, or the biggest vocabulary. It's about psychology, understanding how human attention works, how trust is formed, and how influence is built one emotional signal at a time. This chapter breaks down why some people can speak a few words and immediately have the room locked into their voice, while others can talk for minutes and no one remembers a thing. You're about to learn how to become the first type, the speaker people lean toward instead of away from. 1. People listen when they feel safe. The human brain is wired for survival. Before it listens to what you say, it evaluates whether you're emotionally safe, mentally stable, predictable, non-threatening. If your tone is aggressive, rushed, overly intense, or defensive, people shut down. If your tone is calm, steady, warm, and grounded, people open up. Your emotional energy determines whether people's brains allow your message in. This is why speaking smart starts with controlling your inner state. If you make people feel safe, they listen. If you make them feel tense, they retreat. 2. People listen when you sound like you believe yourself. Conviction is magnetic. Uncertainty is repelling. People don't listen to you because your words are perfect. They listen because they sense you trust your own message. Conviction shows up in your tone, your posture, your pacing, your facial expression, your certainty in delivering the message. Notice how confident speakers don't rush, don't over-explain, and don't seek validation. They let the message sit. When you speak with self-belief, people lean in. When you speak with hesitation, people lean out. 3. People listen when you create tension and release. Human attention runs on the tension cycle. Good communication isn't flat, it has anticipation, pauses, contrast, emphasis, rhythmic shifts. Great speakers naturally build curiosity, then satisfy it. For example, they start with a question. They reveal a surprising fact. They hint at a story before diving in. They pause right before delivering something important. This creates a psychological pull that keeps the brain hooked. Smart speakers don't talk at people. They draw people in. People listen when you speak to their self-interest. People listen when you answer the unspoken question. Why should I care? If your message doesn't connect to their goals, their fears, their challenges, their insecurities, their frustrations, their desires, they will tune out. Smart speakers always make the message relevant. Even complex ideas become gripping when you show the listener. This affects you directly. Speak to people's lives, not your knowledge. 5. People listen when you simplify what others complicate. Complexity repels attention. Simplicity attracts it. Smart communication is not about proving how much you know. It's about making the listener say, "Oh, now I finally understand." Break things down. Use analogies. Use stories. Use visual language. The simpler your delivery, the more powerful your influence. Clarity feels like oxygen to the mind. People follow the one who brings that oxygen. 6. People listen when you speak with emotional precision. Emotion directs attention. Smart speakers don't overwhelm with emotion, they use it strategically. A controlled intensity, a gentle warmth, a steady seriousness, a well-timed enthusiasm. People don't remember every word you say, but they absolutely remember how your emotion made them feel. Precision is the difference between inspiring and overwhelming, motivating and manipulating, assertive and aggressive. Learn to tune your emotional energy like a tool, not a weapon. 7. People listen when you speak their language. Each person processes communication differently. Some prefer fact, structure, logic. Others respond to stories, metaphors, emotional cues. Others react best to humor, warmth, connection. Smart speakers adjust their language to fit the listener's psychological style. Communication is not one size fits all. It's adaptive, a skilled dance between your intent and their mind. 8. People listen when you make them feel seen. One of the deepest human desires is to feel understood. People will listen to you if, and only if, they feel you understand them. This is why repeating their words, validating their feelings, acknowledging their frustrations, noticing their concerns, works like magic. When people feel seen, they listen. When they feel invisible, they disengage. The smartest speakers aren't the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who connect the deepest. 9. People listen when you are unpredictable, but not chaotic. Predictability bores the brain, but chaos overwhelms it. Great speakers strike the sweet spot. They vary their voice tone. They shift pacing. They introduce new angles. They use unexpected examples. This creates novelty, which the brain loves. But they never lose structure or clarity. It's controlled unpredictability, not random noise. The brain listens to what it can't fully predict. 10. People listen when you speak with intent, not impulse. If your words feel reactive, emotional, rushed, or uncontrolled, respect fades instantly. But when you speak from intention, you pause before responding. You choose your words carefully. You speak only what adds value. You stay grounded even under pressure. People sense your emotional discipline. And emotional discipline is extremely attractive, intellectually and socially. Smart speakers don't chase attention. They command it by being intentional. Final thoughts. People start listening to you the moment you understand this truth. Speaking is not about information. It's about emotion, psychology, and presence. Influential communicators don't talk more. They talk smarter. They make people feel safe. They speak with clarity and conviction. They create curiosity. They connect to human desire. They adapt to the listener. They deliver simplicity wrapped in emotional precision. When you master the psychology of being listened to, every conversation becomes easier, every message becomes clearer, and every room feels just a little bit lighter when you speak. Chapter 9: How Smart Speakers Win Any Argument Without Fighting. Most people think winning an argument means proving the other person wrong. Smart communicators know better. You don't win an argument by overpowering someone. You win by staying calm when they are emotional, staying logical when they are reactive, creating clarity when they are confused, guiding the conversation instead of fighting through it, making them feel understood even if you disagree. The goal is not victory, the goal is influence. People rarely change their mind because they were defeated. But they often change their mind because they feel respected, heard, and guided. This chapter teaches you how to win arguments the smart way, gently, strategically, and without losing your sense of peace. 1. Never fight the person, only the problem. Most arguments escalate because people attack each other instead of addressing the issue. Statements like, "You're always like this. You never understand anything. Why are you so difficult?" shift the focus away from the actual issue. They turn a conversation into a battle of egos. Smart speakers separate the person from the problem. They stay focused on the situation, not the identity of the other person. This reduces defensiveness and keeps the conversation grounded in logic. 2. If you stay calm, you automatically win. Arguments aren't decided by facts, they're decided by emotional control. When someone raises their voice, gets aggressive, or becomes defensive, they lose psychological power. The calmer person becomes the one in charge. Calmness communicates, "I'm not threatened. I'm not reactive. I'm thinking clearly. I'm the stable one here. You can't shake my emotional ground." Your tone becomes the anchor. Your silence becomes the pressure. Your steadiness becomes the authority. Remaining calm is not weakness. It is superior strategy. 3. Validate the emotion, not the argument. This is the secret move that disarms almost anyone. You don't have to agree with their opinion. You only have to acknowledge their emotion. Say things like, "I get why you'd feel that way. I understand this is frustrating for you. I hear what you're saying and it makes sense from your perspective." Notice, you didn't agree with their conclusion. You simply recognize their emotion. Validation calms people. Calm people become logical. Logical people become receptive. Most arguments escalate because people feel unheard. Smart speakers fix this first. 4. Ask questions that redirect the fire. Arguments collapse when you guide the other person into self-reflection. Questions like, "What outcome would you prefer? What do you think is the real issue here? How can we solve this together? What solution feels fair to you? If we step back, what really matters most?" These questions shift the brain from heat to thought. The moment you make someone think, you've pulled them out of emotional attack mode. You stop the fight without fighting. 5. Don't chase every point, choose the core issue. Most arguments branch into side points, old resentments, irrelevant examples, spirals of "you said/I said." That's how discussions turn endless. Smart speakers isolate the real issue. They say things like, "Let's focus on what started this. The core issue here is. Everything else is a side detail. Let's solve the main problem first." This shows maturity, leadership, and emotional intelligence. When you guide the conversation back to the root, the argument loses power. 6. Use strategic pauses. When someone expects you to react fast, pause instead. A few seconds of silence diffuses emotional heat, forces the other person to reflect, shows you will not be controlled, creates psychological pressure, gives you time to respond intelligently. Most people explode because they respond too quickly. Smart communicators let the moment breathe. Silence makes your words land harder. 7. Never over-explain. Over-explaining is a sign of fear. Fear kills respect. You do not need to repeat yourself or prove your worth. Say what you need to say, once, with clarity and confidence. People respect those who speak with certainty, not desperation. A strong communicator does not chase approval during a disagreement. 8. Offer solutions instead of ego. Arguments usually persist because both sides are trying to win. Smart speakers don't care about winning, they care about progress. They shift the conversation with phrases like, "Let's find a middle ground. Here's what I can offer. What can we both agree on? Let's move toward a solution instead of staying stuck in this loop." Solutions end arguments. Ego extends them. 9. Know when to walk away. Some arguments cannot be won because the other person is too emotional, unwilling to listen, committed to misunderstanding, fueled by pride, trying to provoke you. A smart speaker recognizes when the conversation is no longer productive and calmly says, "I'll continue this when we're both calmer. I'm stepping back from this for now. Let's revisit this when it's less heated." Walking away is not losing. Walking away is refusing to lose your peace. 10. Winning without fighting is true influence. The goal is not to crush the other person. The goal is to elevate the conversation. When you stay calm, validate emotions, use questions, maintain clarity, stay focused, guide the conversation, protect your peace, you win not by force but by intelligence. People remember how you made them feel even after the argument ends. They remember how composed you were. They remember how you kept the conversation constructive. They remember that talking to you feels different, safer, smarter, calmer. That is true power. Chapter 10. The Art of Saying Less and Meaning More. One of the most powerful communication skills you will ever develop is the ability to say less, yet have your words land harder, carry more weight, and leave a deeper imprint on the listener. Most people talk too much. They explain too long, convince too aggressively, justify too often, argue too emotionally, and fill silence out of insecurity. Smart speakers understand something different. Influence doesn't come from the amount of words you speak. It comes from the precision of the words you choose. This chapter teaches you the rare and elite skill of speaking in a way that is quiet, concise, and controlled, yet powerful enough to command attention in any room. 1. Why less is more in communication. When you speak too much, people stop listening, get mentally overloaded, miss the main point, start waiting for you to finish, perceive you as less confident. When you speak with precision, people lean in, pay attention, trust your intelligence, feel your clarity, respect your presence. Saying less forces you to think more. And when you think more, you speak smarter. 2. People judge your intelligence by your brevity. Studies show that listeners rate speakers as more intelligent when they get to the point quickly, speak in clear, short statements, avoid rambling, deliver ideas cleanly. You don't sound smart by using many words. You sound smart by using the right words. The fewer words you use, the more each one matters. This is why leaders, CEOs, and powerful communicators speak in short, heavy, intentional lines that hit like clean punches. 3. The power of well-timed pauses. Pauses give your words oxygen. They allow the listener to absorb, reflect, anticipate, connect, feel the weight of your message. But pauses also make you powerful. A pause communicates confidence, composure, emotional control, presence, authority. Only someone who is calm and secure can pause mid-sentence without fear. Silence is the ultimate flex. 4. Remove the filler words that weaken your presence. Common fillers include, you know, like, I guess, basically, kind of, sort of. To be honest, fillers send signals of uncertainty, nervousness, lack of clarity. You don't need to remove them instantly, You simply replace them with silence. A clean pause is far more powerful than a filler word. 5. Speak in clean, punchy sentences. Instead of, I think maybe what I'm trying to say is that sometimes people don't really notice how certain behaviors can affect others in a way that's kind of problematic. Say, people underestimate how their behavior affects others. Shorter, clearer, stronger. When you speak cleanly, people feel your intelligence without you having to declare it. 6. Say only what moves the conversation forward. Most conversations are bloated with unnecessary information. Smart speakers filter themselves in real time. Before speaking, silently ask, does this add value? Does this answer the question? Does this help the conversation? Is this necessary? If the answer is no, you don't say it. This single habit upgrades your communication instantly. 7. Speak like you have nothing to prove. People who over-explain are subconsciously trying to earn approval, win validation, avoid being misunderstood, appear right, hide insecurity. Smart speakers understand that confidence is quiet. Confident people do not justify excessively, repeat themselves, argue to exhaustion. They speak once, clearly, and let the message stand. When you communicate as if your words carry weight, people believe they do. 8. Let the listener work a little. When you leave small gaps in your message, the listener becomes mentally engaged. You don't need to spell out every detail. You don't need to fill every silence. You don't need to explain the obvious. A smart speaker knows when to stop talking and let the listener think. Listeners respect the speaker who trusts their intelligence. 9. Be selective with emotional expression. Emotion is powerful, but only when used deliberately. When you overreact, overshare, overemphasize, overexpress, your message becomes emotionally noisy. But when you express emotion intentionally, people lean in. The room becomes quiet. Your message hits deeper. You appear grounded and authentic. Emotion is strongest when it's controlled, not chaotic. 10. End with precision, not fading words. Many people end sentences weakly. You know? I guess. Or something. That's just me though. Weak endings weaken your authority. Strong speakers end with clarity, certainty, finality. Your last word should land like a period, not a question mark. End cleanly. End confidently. End deliberately. Final thoughts. Speaking smart doesn't require a loud voice or a large vocabulary. It requires clarity, emotional control, precision, intentionality, presence. When you speak less but mean more, people begin to respect you, listen to you, trust you, follow your lead. You become the person in the room whose words carry weight, not because you speak the most but because you speak the best.